Kmart is an American chain of discount department stores headquartered in Illinois, United States. The chain purchased Sears in 2005, forming a new corporation under the name Sears Holdings Corporation. The company was founded in 1962 and is the third largest discount store chain in the world, behind Walmart and Target, with stores in the United States, Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and Guam. It also previously operated stores in Canada, Mexico, and Eastern Europe. As of February 2, 2013, Kmart operated a total of 1,221 Kmart stores in 49 states, Guam, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. This store count included 1,196 discount stores, averaging 94,000 SQAFT, and 25 supercenters, averaging 168,000 SQAFT. Kmart became known for its blue light specials. They occurred at surprise moments when a store worker would light up a mobile police light and offer a discount in a specific department of the store. At the height of Kmart's popularity, the phrase "Attention Kmart shoppers" also entered into the American pop psyche, appearing in films and other media such as Troop Beverly Hills, 6 Days 7 Nights, Rain Man, Beetlejuice, Madea Goes to Jail and Dawn of the Dead. Kmart's world headquarters was located in Troy, Michigan in Greater Detroit, but since the purchase of Sears, it has been relocated to Hoffman Estates in Greater Chicago, Illinois. Kmart also exists in Australia and New Zealand, although it now has no relation to the American stores except in name, after U.S. equity in the Australian business was purchased in the late 1970s. History. Early history. Sebastian S. Kretsch, the founder of the company that would become Kmart, met variety store pioneer Frank Woolworth while working as a traveling salesman and selling to all 19 of Woolworth's stores at the time. In 1897, Kretsch invested $8,000 saved from his job and joint ownership with his friend John McCrary of a five-and-dime store in Memphis, to which they added another in downtown Detroit the following year. These were the first S.S. Kretsch stores. After 2 years of partnership, he paid McCrary $3,000 and gave up his share in the Memphis store for full ownership of the Detroit store, and formed the Kretsch and Wilson Company with his brother-in-law, Charles J. Wilson. In 1912, Kretsch incorporated the S.S. Kretsch Corporation with 85 stores. The company was first listed on the New York Stock Exchange on May 23, 1918. During World War I, Kretsch experimented with raising the limit on prices in his stores to $1. By 1924, Kretsch was worth approximately $375 million and owned real estate of the approximate value of $100 million. Early century growth remained brisk, with 257 stores in 1924 growing to 597 stores operating in 1929. Kretsch retired as president in 1925. The Great Depression reduced profitability and resulted in store closings, with the number reduced to 682 in 1940. Post-war retailing saw many changes in shopping patterns with many customers moving out of the cities into the suburbs. The Kretsch Company followed them and closed and merged many urban stores so that by 1954 the total number of stores in the U.S. had declined to 616. Under the leadership of executive Harry Cunningham, S.S. Kretsch Corporation opened the first Kmart store on March 1, 1962, in Garden City, Michigan, just 4 months before the first Walmart opened. This store is still in operation to this day. A total of 18 Kmart stores opened that year. Kmart Foods, a now defunct chain of Kmart supermarkets, opened in that same decade. Company founder Kretsch died on October 18, 1966. Around the time of the opening of the first Kmart, a number of the poorly performing S.S. Kretsch stores were converted to a new Jupiter Discount Stores brand, which was conceived as a bare-bones, deep discount outfit. During the 1970s, Kmart put a number of competing retailers out of business. Kretsch, Jupiter and Kmart stores had their main competition from other variety chains such as Ames, Hills and those operated by MMG McCrary stores. In 1977, S.S. Kretsch Corporation changed its name to Kmart Corporation. In 1987, The Kmart Corporation sold its remaining Craig and Jupiter stores in the United States to McCrary Stores, and the brands were almost entirely discontinued, although Canadian Craig and Jupiter stores continued to operate until 1994. Kmart experimented with co-branding in 1985, when the in-store cafeteria at the store in Canton, Michigan was converted to a Wendy's. Until November 1990, when it was passed by Walmart, Kmart was the second-largest retailer in the U.S., after Sears. During the 1980s, the company's fortunes began to change. Many of Kmart's stores were considered to be outdated and in decaying condition. In the late 1980s and into the 1990s, the corporate office shifted much of its focus from the Kmart stores to other companies it had acquired or created, such as the Sports Authority, Builders Square, and Walden Books. The original Blue Light Special, first introduced in 1965, was retired in 1991. The company brought back the Blue Light Special in 2001, but again discontinued it in 2002. The concept was briefly revived in 2005, though Kmart at that time had no plans to use the concept long-term. Blue Light Specials were revived again in 2009 on Saturdays, offering surprise hour-long sales on selected merchandise. 1990s. In 1990, in an effort to update its image, Kmart introduced a new logo. It dropped the old-style italic K with a turquoise Mart in favor of a red block letter K with the word Mart written in script and contained inside the K. Kmart then began remodeling stores shortly thereafter, but most were not remodeled until the mid-1990s, and some have not been completely renovated to this day. This logo was replaced in 2004 with the current logo. In the early 1990s, Kmart also tried to reinvent itself by using the short-lived name Today's Kmart. The company also began to offer exclusive merchandise by Martha Stewart, Kathy Ireland, Jacqueline Smith, Lauren Hutton, and Thalia. Other recognizable brands included exclusively licensed merchandising of products relating to Sesame Street and Disney. Actress and television personality Rosie O'Donnell and actor-director and producer Penny Marshall became among the company's most recognized spokespersons. Kmart Supercenter opened a 147,000 sqaft location in 1991 in Medina, Ohio, featuring a full-service grocery store and general merchandise. However, this location was downsized in 2011 and was one of a number of Kmarts closed in early 2012. The second ground-up Kmart Supercenter opened in Montrose, Ohio, featuring the chain's first full-scale video rental center and a carry-out Chinese menu. This location has also closed. Most Kmart Supercenters range in size from 140,000 sqaft to 190,000 sqaft. Current locations feature in-house bakeries, fresh meats and seafood, and a full delicatessen. Big Kmart opened in Chicago, Illinois, on April 23, 1997. The format focuses on home fashions, children's apparel and consumables. Most Kmart stores were remodeled to this format during the 1990s and most of them have been converted back to regular Kmart stores with the new logo introduction. The Sports Authority was acquired by Kmart in 1990 and spun off 5 years later. In 1994, Kmart closed 110 stores. Unlike its competitors Walmart and Target, it had failed to invest in computer technology to manage its supply chain. Furthermore, Kmart maintained a high dividend, which reduced the amount of money available for improving its stores. Many business analysts also faulted the corporation for failing to create a coherent brand image. 2000s, on January 22, 2002, Kmart filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection under the leadership of its then-chairman Chuck Conaway and President Mark Schwartz. Conaway, who had had success building up the CVS Corporation, had accepted an offer to take the helm at Kmart along with a loan of some $5 million. In a scandal similar to that involving Enron, Conaway and Schwartz were accused of misleading shareholders and other company officials about the company's financial crisis while making millions and allegedly spending the company's money on airplanes, houses, boats and other luxuries. At a conference for Kmart employees January 22, Conaway accepted full blame for the financial disaster. As Kmart emerged from bankruptcy, Konaway was forced to step down and was asked to pay back all the loans he had taken. After dismissing Konaway and Schwartz, Kmart closed more than 300 stores in the United States, including all the Kmart stores in Alaska, and laid off around 34,000 workers as part of the restructuring process. Kmart introduced 5 prototype stores with a new logo, layout, and lime green and gray color scheme, one in White Lake Township, Michigan, a quasi-rural community near Detroit, Michigan, and 4 in central Illinois. The new layout was touted as having wider aisles and improved selection and lighting, and the city or town's name was featured under the new Kmart logo at the front entrance. However, Kmart could not afford a full-scale rollout. The lime green prototype was abandoned for the new Kmart orange concept that rolled out at 9 test stores throughout the United States. While the company was in bankruptcy, ESL Investments, a hedge fund controlled by Edward Lampert, purchased a significant amount of Kmart's outstanding debt. Lampert worked to accelerate the bankruptcy process, and on May 6, 2003 Kmart emerged from bankruptcy protection as Kmart Holdings Corporation. On June 10, 2003, it began trading on the Nasdaq with the ticker symbol KMRT, with Lampert as chairman and ESL Investments controlling 53% of the new company. Lampert dismissed concerns that the smaller company would be at a disadvantage, stating the focus that a lot of people have in retail revolves around sales, but sales without profit do not allow a business to be successful in the long term. He began to improve the company's balance sheet by reducing inventory, cutting costs, and closing underperforming stores. By the fourth quarter of 2003, Kmart posted its first profitable quarter in 3 years, although it has since returned to an operating loss. On November 17, 2004, Kmart announced its intention to purchase Sears. As a part of the merger, the Kmart Holdings Corporation would change its name to Sears Holdings Corporation. The new corporation announced that it would continue to operate stores under both the Sears and Kmart brands. Around this time, Kmart changed its logo from a red K with the script Mart inside to a red block letter K with the chain's name and lowercase letters below it. Kmart's headquarters were relocated to Hoffman Estates, Illinois, and the sprawling headquarters complex in Troy, Michigan, was recently acquired by the Forbes Company, which owns the nearby upscale mall, Somerset Collection. No concrete plans for redevelopment of the site have been announced. In 2005, the company began renovating some Kmart stores and converting them to the Sears Essentials format, only to change them later to Sears Grands. Kmart started remodeling stores to the orange prototype in 2006. The typical white and blue interior of the stores was changed to orange and brown, and shelf heights were lowered to create better sight lines. The remodeled stores contain an appliance department with Kenmore appliances, and most have hardware departments that sell Craftsman tools, which prior to the merger had been exclusive to Sears stores. Some auto centers left vacant by Penske after Kmart filed for bankruptcy have been converted to Sears Auto Centers. 280 stores as of 2009 have been remodeled to this new prototype. For most of these stores, Kmart retired the big Kmart logo and replaced it with the current logo. In some of the larger stores the old logo is still in use. In July 2009, Sears Holdings opened its first Sears-branded appliance store inside a Kmart. The 4,000 SQAFT store within a store opened inside the former garden department of a Birmingham, Alabama, Kmart. It is 2/3 the size of the appliance department in most Sears stores, but larger than the 2,500 SQAFT appliance department in remodeled Kmart stores. In October 2009, it was reported that Kmart and Martha Stewart Living Unimedia failed to come to a new agreement. This came after Stewart made remarks on CNBC that her line at Kmart had deteriorated, particularly after the Sears merger. In November 2009, Kmart reported its first year-over-year sales increase of 0.5% since 2005, and only the second such increase since 2001. 2010s, on December 27, 2011, after a poor showing from holiday shoppers, Sears Holdings announced that 100 to 120 of Sears Kmart stores would close. In early 2014, News reports indicated that Kmart was closing stores in locations including Blue Ash, Ohio, Xenia, Ohio, Winter Park, Florida, Montgomery, Illinois, Fergus Falls, Minnesota, Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, 3 stores in Wisconsin, North Raleigh, North Carolina, 3 stores near Albany, New York, Ellisville, Missouri, 2 stores in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Berlin, New Jersey, Middletown, Pennsylvania, Banning, California, Wise, Virginia, Albuquerque, New Mexico, Grand Rapids, Minnesota, Waynesboro, Pennsylvania and Shippensburg, PA. Corporate identity, logos. Mascot. In May 2007, Sears Holdings Corporation and Kmart named a new mascot and spokesperson for Kmart called Mr. Bluelight. Named after Kmart's well-known blue light specials, Mr. Bluelight is a talking cartoonish blue light bulb who gives customers ideas to help them make the most of their Kmart experience. Mr. Bluelight has appeared in several television commercials. Specials associated with Mr. Bluelight inside Kmart stores are advertised as Blue Light Finds and Best of Blue. Corporate Affairs, Headquarters. The owner of Kmart, Sears Holdings Corporation, has its headquarters in Hoffman Estates, Illinois and Greater Chicago. The headquarters were previously located in the Kmart International Headquarters in Troy, Michigan in Greater Detroit. The facility had 23 interconnected modules. Each had 3 stories, except for one module, which was 1 story. Based on the layout, Norm Sinclair of Debussyness concluded that it was a study in inefficiency. Subsidiaries, current. Kmart is a chain of discount department stores that are usually freestanding or located in strip malls. They carry electronics, music, movies, bedding, household hardware, sporting goods, clothing, toys, jewelry, office supplies, health and beauty products, home decor, and a limited selection of food items. Many stores also have a garden center, a Jackson Hewitt Tax Center, a pharmacy, and usually a K-Cafe or a deli serving Nathan's hot dogs and pizza. Kmart stores range from €80,000 to €110,000 SQAFT. Some of these stores were converted into Super Kmart, and most of them were converted into Big Kmart. Urban multi-level variants of a Kmart store are located in Middle Village, Queens, New York, Southbury, Connecticut, and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The world's largest Kmart store is located in Guam. Big Kmart is a chain of discount department stores that carry everything a regular Kmart carries, but with an emphasis on home decor, children's clothing, and more food items such as meat and poultry, baked goods, frozen foods and an extended, but limited section of garden produce. However, they do not feature a bakery, a delicatessen, or fresh seafood. Big Kmart stores range from €84,000 to €120,000 SQAFT. Big Kmart stores also feature a garden center, a pharmacy, a branch of a local bank, a Jackson Hewitt Tax Center, an Olan Mills portrait studio, an arcade, a K-Cafe or Little Caesars pizza station, and sometimes a Kmart Express gas station. Since the merger with Sears, many stores have been rebranded as Kmart, or Sears Grand. Kmart Supercenter is a chain of hypermarkets that carry everything a regular Kmart carries, but also have a full grocery section with meat and poultry, baked goods, a delicatessen, garden produce, and fresh seafood. Kmart Supercenter stores range from $140,000 to $190,000 SQAFT. Newer stores are also known as Super Kmart. Supercenter stores also feature a garden center, a video rental store, a branch of a local bank, an arcade, a portrait studio, a Jackson Hewitt Tax Center, a pharmacy, and usually a deli cafe or Little Caesars pizza station. Several also include Kmart Express gas stations, and most had an auto center. Most Kmart Supercenters were closed during the 2 rounds of closures in 2002 and 2003, and 20 had their groceries taken out, converting them into Big Kmart and Sears Grand locations. Some of the surviving Super Kmarts were those in regions without a strong Walmart presence, including Ohio and Michigan. A typical supercenter sells around $30 million of merchandise during one fiscal year. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, urban multi-level variants were opened that included two-level, 195,000 SQAFT locations and three-level, 200,000 SQAFT locations. These carry everything a Kmart supercenter carries, but do not have a Kmart Express gas station and an auto center like most Kmart supercenters. They do feature a Bo Ricks hair salon, a Fifth Third Bank or bank branch, an expanded Jackson Hewitt tax center, escalators, elevators, shopping cart conveyors, and parking garages, which many Super Kmart stores do not have. Most of these locations were converted to regular Kmart stores, or shuttered in the late 2000s. One surviving Super Kmart in Robinson Township, Pennsylvania just outside of Pittsburgh closed in 2013 due to Chevron Corporation purchasing the property to use as an office complex for Marcellus-related activity as opposed to poor performance. Dollar is a chain of discount stores, dollar stores, that sell Kmart merchandise at a discount. The stores are often former Kmart or Big Kmart stores that have been converted to the dollar concept. Sears brands filed for a trademark on the dollar name on November 6, 2012. The first one opened in a converted Kmart in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan in 2013. A second dollar store opened in Waukegan, Illinois. K-Kafar Copyright is an in-store restaurant that serves a fairly standard menu of hamburgers, hot dogs, fries and such other sandwiches as grilled cheese and Philly cheesesteaks. They also offer a full breakfast menu of baked goods, bagels and egg platters with bacon or sausage and such snacks as nachos, pretzels, popcorn and ice cream. In addition to the cafe's menu, hot food items can also be purchased at the deli and eaten in the deli cafe at Super Kmart Center stores. However, K-Kafar copyright has been discontinued in some stores. Quash is an attached-to-store laundromat first launched in May 2010. Currently there is only one such prototype in a former auto bay located in Iowa City, Iowa. It features a separate entrance, laundromat attendants and free Wi-Fi along with a limited selection of laundry goods available for purchase. Kmart Express is a chain of gas stations convenience stores that are located in outparcels at some Kmart and Super Kmart stores, particularly in the Midwestern United States. In the early 2000s there were plans to expand this concept to most Kmart stores, but the plans for more locations were cancelled after Kmart's bankruptcy in 2002. Former American Fare was a chain of hypermarkets that first opened in January 1989. American Fare was a joint venture between Kmart and Birmingham, Alabama-based Bruno's Supermarkets. The first store opened near Atlanta, Georgia. American Fare's 244,000 SQAFT of retail space included 74,550 SQAFT of groceries, 104,000 SQAFT of general merchandise, and 35,000 SQAFT of clothing. An area in the front of the store housed a music and video store, a food court, bank, hair salon, pharmacy and a card store. Charlotte, North Carolina, was home to the second American Fair, which opened in late 1989 with only 160,000 SQAFT of retail space. A third and final store opened in Jackson, Mississippi. In June 1992, Bruno's announced that its partnership with the Kmart Corporation was being terminated, and that Kmart would assume ownership of the three stores. The Charlotte, North Carolina store was converted to Super Kmart and finally closed in 2002. The American Fare brand is used on some Kmart store brand consumable products. Builders Square was a home improvement superstore. In 1997, it was sold to Hochinger, which went out of business in 1999. Borders Books was a chain of bookstores acquired by Kmart in 1992. In 1994, Borders merged with the Kmart chain Walden Books to form Borders Walden Group, which was sold in 1995. In 2011, Borders filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in February and announced plans to liquidate in July after failing to find a buyer to keep the chain's remaining 399 stores in operation. Kmart Chef Restaurants were a small chain of freestanding fast food restaurants owned by Kmart, started in 1967 with the first location on the parking lot of a Kmart in Pontiac, Michigan. The limited, high-turnover menu consisted of fast food such as burgers, French fries, hot dogs, and soft drinks. The Kmart Chef chain folded in 1974 after peaking at 11 locations. Kmart Food Stores was a supermarket chain founded in 1962. Most Kmart food locations were together with Kmart stores, often operated by a local grocery chain but always branded as Kmart Food. The chain was discontinued in the 1970s. Makro, a Dutch warehouse club chain, opened locations in the U.S. in the late 1980s. Kmart bought out the chain's entire American holdings in 1989, having previously owned a 49% share. The Makro stores were later converted to Pace or closed in 1990. Office Max is a chain selling office supplies and office furniture which was acquired in 1991, and sold in 1995. Office Square was a chain selling office supplies and office furniture which was a spin-off of Builders Square. In 1991, Office Max was acquired by Kmart and Office Square was merged into Office Max stores. Pace Membership Warehouse was Kmart's warehouse club brand, until the chain was purchased by Walmart. In 1993, Walmart converted most of the stores into its Sam's Club brand, and sold others to chains such as Bradley's. Payless Drugs was a chain of drug stores acquired by Kmart until it was sold to TCH Corporation in 1994. The resulting entity, Thrifty Payless, was acquired by Rite Aid in 1996, which converted all of the Payless and Thrifty stores into Rite Aid stores in 1999. The Payless division also owned B-Mart, which was spun off along with sister stores such as Pay and Save. The Sports Authority is a chain of sporting goods stores which was acquired in 1990 and sold in 1995. Variety Outlet. A close-out chain, typically operated out of closed Kmart stores. The first opened in Rome, Georgia in 1994. Walden Books was a chain of primarily shopping mall-based bookstores which was acquired in 1984. In 1994, Kmart chain Borders merged with Walden Books to form Borders Walden Group, which was sold in 1995. Philanthropy. Kmart for Kids is the umbrella program for Kmart's philanthropic initiatives. The program helps children across the country live happier, healthier lives through the support of March of Dimes, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and American Diabetes Association. Kmart is March of Dimes' #1 corporate sponsor, raising over $71 million for stronger, healthier babies. On July 29, 2008, Don Germano, SVP GM of Kmart Stores, was elected to a 5-year term on the National Board of Trustees of the March of Dimes Foundation. Kmart for Kids supports St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital through its annual Thanks and Giving campaign, an opportunity for Kmart customers to give thanks for the healthy children in their lives and give to help those who are not. Kmart has been a partner of the campaign since 2006 and as of December 2008 had raised more than $59.2 million for St. Jude's. A record $21.9 million was donated for the 10th annual fundraising campaign during the 2013 holiday season. In 2008, Kmart earned the Outstanding Corporate Citizen Award for its support of the American Diabetes Association's Step Out, Walk to Fight Diabetes program. The tribute honors Kmart for the most well-developed, proactive program in the areas of charity, community development, diversity, philanthropy, and associate development. In 2008 Kmart became a national sponsor of Step Out, Walk to Fight Diabetes, and over the past 2 years, Kmart's customers and associates have raised approximately $1.5 million through its in-store campaigns. Environmental record. On May 9, 2007, Kmart was penalized $102,422 for violations of federal hazardous waste, clean water, emergency planning and preparation regulations at 17 distribution centers. Kmart corrected the violations by preparing and implementing spill prevention control and countermeasure plans, applying for appropriate storm water permits, complying with hazardous waste generator requirements, and submitting reports to state and local emergency planning and response organizations informing them of the presence of hazardous substances. The Environmental Protection Agency also accused Kmart of not maintaining adequate information and failing to act in accordance with hazardous waste storage and disposal requirements. For instance, the EPA reported having discovered improperly labeled oil storage drums at a location in Falls, Pennsylvania. Out of concern for the environment, Kmart promoted battery recycling. In 1990, Kmart even proposed spending about $80 million on full-page newspaper advertisements offering to recycle junk batteries for $2 each. In 2012, Kmart and Sears began allowing customers who are members of their Shop Your Way rewards program to receive receipts by email, eliminating paper waste and cutting down on the usage of ink. Animal welfare concerns. In 2012, Mercy for Animals, a non-profit organization working against cruelty to farmed animals, conducted an infiltration at Christensen Farms, a pork supplier to Kmart, Walmart, and Costco, obtaining hidden camera footage of pigs confined in small gestation crates and cruelty to piglets. In response to Mercy for Animals infiltration, Kmart announced it would begin requiring its pork suppliers to phase out gestation crates. Blue Light Internet Service. In 1999 Kmart began offering a dial-up internet service called Blue Light, which was eventually spun off as an independent company. Blue Light was initially free and supported by banner ads. Blue Light dropped the free service in February 2001 and was reacquired by Kmart in July 2001. In 2002 United Online, which also owns NetZero and Juno, bought the Blue Light service after Kmart filed for bankruptcy. In August 2006, Blue Light dropped the banners. As of August 2006, the service cost $14.95 a month and had around 165,000 subscribers. Racing sponsorships. Kmart was a prominent sponsor in NASCAR and the now-defunct kart series. They were a longtime sponsor of Newman Haas Racing, owned by actor Paul Newman and former racer Carl Haas. Their kart drivers included Nigel Mansell and the father-son duo of Michael and Mario Andretti. Mansell and Michael Andretti won championships under Kmart's sponsorship, in 1991 and 1993, respectively. The store also sponsored the NASCAR-sanctioned Kmart 400 at Michigan and North Carolina Speedway. Lake Speed garnered Kmart's first win in NASCAR in 1988 at the Darlington Raceway. Kmart sponsored three-time champion Darrell Waltrip in 1999 and 2000, his last two full-time seasons. Most recently, in NASCAR, the store sponsored Boris Said's number 60 No Fear Ford Fusion in 2006. Canada, Europe, Mexico, Australia and New Zealand stores. Kmart was also once a major presence in Canada, with its first Crave store opening in 1929. Kmart closed 5 Montreal stores and several other Quebec stores in 1983 due to the company restructuring. However, as a result of Kmart's ongoing financial difficulties, the Canadian division comprising 112 stores was sold to competitor Zellers of the Hudson's Bay Company in May 1998, after which the stores were either closed or converted to Hudson's Bay Company brands, mostly Zellers. A store in Saint Laurent, Quebec became a Canadian Tire instead because of the mall it used to house Kmart already having a Zellers. Like Target stores, Kmart-branded stores in Australia belonged to Coles Myer before being acquired by Wees Farmers in 2007, which also holds the rights to the Kmart brand in New Zealand. There are currently 15 Kmart stores in operation in New Zealand, with the newest located in Richmond, Nelson. In 1992, Kmart purchased several communist-era department stores in Eastern Europe, including 13 in the former Czechoslovakia that were bought from the former Czechoslovak government. One of those stores was the old MAJ department store on Narodny Tar and registered trademark Adar in Prague. Many of these outlets were quite profitable, with the Bratislava location setting a single-store sales record for the company. But Kmart's larger troubles in the United States caught up with its European operations later in the decade. In March 1996, the Kmart Corporation announced that it had agreed to sell the 6 Kmart stores in the Czech Republic and the 7 in Slovakia to Tesco plc. of Britain for about $117.5 million, to focus on its core operations in North America. Also in the 1990s, Kmart opened 4 stores in Mexico, in partnership with the Mexican retailer Liverpool. All were supercenters, and their locations were all suburbs of Mexico City. About half of the store area was devoted to groceries, and this part of the stores resembled those in the U.S. with some adjustments to the local market. These plus an unfinished store were sold in 1997 to the Mexican hypermarket chain Mega. CEOs, Edward S. Eddie Lampert, Louis D'Ambrosio, former CEO of Havana W. Bruce Johnson, former interim president and CEO of Sears Holdings Corporation, Aylwin Lewis, former president and CEO of Sears Holdings Corporation, Bernard Forber, Charles Conaway, Floyd Hall, Harry Cunningham, James B. Adamson, Joseph E. Antonini, Julian Day, S.S. Credge, founder, see also. Kmart Australia, Sears Holdings Corporation. References. Bibliography, Turner, Marcia Layton. Kmart's 10 Deadly Sins, How Incompetence Tainted an American Icon. Hoboken, New Jersey, John Wiley & Sons. ISBN A978-0-471-43593-8. External links, Kmart official website, Kmart2Go, official mobile online store, kmartdesign.com microsite.